Hey Sparks, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Sparkplug TV, where I do car reviews for literally everybody, not just car enthusiasts. Cue that title card, Chris. That's me. Today I'm getting a chance to test out one of Hyundai's N models.
Finally, I found you, Sonic! Put those grippers away!
The all-new 2022 Hyundai Kona N to be exact. Before I kick things off, please don't forget to like this video, comment down below, and for the love of God, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I got this Kona N thanks to Johnson Hyundai of Wake Forest. Johnson Hyundai sells more Hyundais in North Carolina and South Carolina than any other dealership. And with 2 locations in Cary and Wake Forest, if they don't have what you want, they can get it. Thanks again, Johnson Hyundai of Wake Forest. Hyundai's offshoot sports car brand Hyundai N was established in 2016 with the i30N. Personally, I really wish they would bring back the Elantra GT or at least make it into a wagon. Since then, we've seen the Veloster N, the Elantra N, and now the Kona N. Unfortunately, the Veloster N will not be coming back for the 2023 model year, as Hyundai believes that the Elantra and Kona are enough to satisfy the brand's needs. The Hyundai N name actually isn't just for show either. The N brand actually won the World Rally Championship in 2020 with the rally version of their i30N. Not to bring it back to me, but I would really kill to race in a rally event or any racing event for that matter. The 2022 Hyundai Kona N is Hyundai's subcompact sporty SUV. I still find it hard to believe that this falls under the SUV category. I don't really care that they branded it as subcompact. To me, this is just a straight up hatchback. The Ford Focus is longer than this thing and only 2 inches shorter. Marketing schemes aside, the 2022 Hyundai Kona N comes in one trim and not a whole lot of variations and options. Hyundai really said this is the car, take it or leave it. The regular Kona starts at about $21,000, while the Need for Speed styled N comes out at a very reasonable $35,000. It's a decent amount of car for that price. There's also the N line, which offers the sporty styling of the N and a few more creature comfort-like features that the N itself doesn't offer. Speaking of power, the Hyundai Kona N comes standard with a turbocharged 2.0-liter 4-cylinder engine that outputs 276 horsepower and 289 pound-feet of torque. Impressive. The N comes with a N Grin Shift, terrible name, that adds an additional 10 horsepower boost for about 20 seconds. In terms of transmission, the Kona N has a dual-clutch 8-speed automatic transmission that gives a gratifying gurgle every time you click that paddle shifter. I'm sad to say, though, that there's no manual option, as I'm sure others are sad to hear it, but the market might not even be there for it, and they'll probably come out with a manual later if people complain about it enough. I mean, hey, they did that for the Supra. The Kona N also includes a bevy of other sport-tuned tech like active dampers, oversized 14-inch front brake rotors, and some other stuff that I'll get into later. This sporty little scamp gets up to 60 miles per hour in an impressive 4.8 seconds and has a top speed of a claimed 149 miles an hour. Okay, Sparks.
Oh my God, those dogs are barking!
And I promise I won't be wearing these Birkenstocks when I drive. So the Kona overall got a facelift for this year's model, which streamlined the front fascia just a little bit, making the front headlights a bit more flush with the front end, as well as making the front grille vent just a little bit smaller by adding this front panel that kind of cuts it in half. The difference between the N and the regular Kona is that the Hyundai logo is smack dab in the center. It's also got fully painted front panels instead of the plastic, more aggressive side air ducts, and these separated hood scoops that are, to put it bluntly, fake. Kona is well known for the separation of the LED daytime running lights with the headlights, and nothing has changed with that. The upper Kona models come with these 3-tiered LED headlights, but you can get the single halogen one. I prefer the N's look over the regular Kona. It just, I don't know, it just looks better to me. People say that it's more aggressive, but I just think it's like a cute aggressive. But yeah, in general, I just prefer this look over the regular Kona. So the side profile of the Kona has always been its cutest quality, but now with the N package, it is just cute with the touch of aggression. However, with these painted fenders instead of the plastic ones and the 19-inch rims with the Pirelli summer tires, this Kona has gone from an everyday A to B machine to a pavement-crushing monster. What is this? What am I doing? The N badge proudly displayed on the side skirt also lets you know that this isn't your everyday average Hyundai. You can also see the red trim line that's prominently displayed on the side but still wraps around the entirety of the car. In terms of gas mileage, she gets about 20 in the city and 27 on the highway. The rims are so cool. I really love the two-tone black and silver as well as the red brake caliper. It's really great. I think the side profile is the best looking aspect of this car. So the design of the backlights follows suit with the front, featuring the separation of the brake lights to the turn signal as well as the backup lights. The 2022 also got the lighting fixtures flush with the rear fascia treatment, like the front as well. It's an interesting take on the backlights, and I honestly like the back end's design just a little bit more than the front ends. The only difference in the lighting in the back is the triangle third brake light that's attached to this N-only aerodynamic wing, as opposed to the standard horizontal bar and no spoiler. Down here you can see the sport-inspired diffuser as well as the large bore dual exhaust tips. This Kona also comes with a variable exhaust valve system that changes the tune of the exhaust when you change it into sport mode. Unfortunately, there is no power tailgate. It does kind of come up on its own though. But more unfortunately is the fact that there's only 19 cubic feet of storage. It's tiny. It really puts the sub in subcompact. Alright, this is the Kona N's interior, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little dismayed at how simple the interior is. For how intricate and well put together the exterior is, I'm just surprised at how simple it is. I also expected just a little bit better materials on the inside. It is like one of their economic SUVs, so you know the materials aren't going to be the best, but I do like the fact that it does have these N Sport bucket seats. You can get these N Sport bucket seats in the N line as well. It's got this like half leather, half suede kind of material, and it's nice and they're comfortable and they're not nearly as rough or as intense as the Recaro bucket seats, and they're pretty comfortable actually. This does come with the Harman Kardon sound system that sounds really nice. The key feature of the N series is this steering wheel. Now the steering wheel is kind of like an older gen Hyundai steering wheel coupled with like next gen N styling, you know, with the buttons, with the N buttons on the left and the right, and then of course it does have the N grin shift button, which they might as well have just called it boost. I don't know why they didn't just call it that, but the steering wheel is really nice. You can tell that it's a racing style steering wheel. It does have different drive modes, obviously. It has sport, eco, but it also has the N mode. Now the N mode kind of puts everything in the center, a little bit like an F1 style. It will also show you shifting reticles on the side. It's actually very helpful. The gauge cluster is standard Hyundai gauge cluster. It's, you know, just a standard 8-inch gauge cluster. It does have obviously like the N Sport stuff. I really like the fact that you can easily access the different drive modes on the left button, the left N button, and then on the right hand button, you can immediately shift into sport mode that turns it into the N mode. You can change the different variations of the sport tuning. You can change the limited slip differential. You can change the type of steering. I mean, there's a slew of options that you can change. I mean, but if I'm going to hit the N button, I want it to be full bore, full max, like, you know, just completed. So that's where my customization would come in. You're not able to get it with like the tech pack, so it doesn't have adaptive cruise control, but it does have the blind spot monitoring system, the lane follow assist, and the lane keep assist as well. It is decent enough for highway driving. You do just have to change the speed at your own volition. The 10-inch touchscreen is very nice. It has a navigation system. The only difference between the 22 and the 23 is that the 23 models come with over-the-air updates for the navigation system, which is pretty nice. I mean, I've never been one to use the navigation system in a car anyway, just because of that fact, and so the fact that they're able to do that now is a really nice feature. I'm a little dismayed by the interior, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little plain. It's a little plain Jane. It does at least have a wireless phone charger, but again, you know, because it has a navigation system, you're not able to have wireless Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, so it's a little redundant. The plastic that they do use for the side is really hard, and it almost feels like a toy almost. I mean, again, of course, you know, this is only like a $35,000 car max. I mean, you're paying for all of like the sportiness and stuff. You're not really paying for this for the quality of the materials. So it does have the N mode, which I guess is the only differentiating factor. So it does have launch control. It does have like a G-force thing. It shows you the throttle, the oil temperature, the lap timer, the brake press, you know, percentage. You're able to get a lot of those stats in the gauge cluster as well. It offers a lot of really cool sport features, and I think, and of course, that's what people are buying this for. So, without further ado, let's take this out on the road. I've got it in N mode. I'm gonna do full manual this whole time, just so that I can take a look at the rev counter. It's very gurgly when the valve is opened all the way. But yeah, one thing I forgot to mention about the back too, oh, hang on. One thing I forgot to mention about the back is it's very subcompact in the back seat. Yeah, I'm like shocked at how small it is. I mean, again, if you're going to market this as an SUV, make it an SUV, you know, babes? Wow. Okay. We gotta talk about the suspension, obviously, because it does have active dampers, but in the sport mode, it is insanely tight. I mean, it needs to be tight for a sport, you know, sport-tuned suspension, but this thing, I feel like I've got like anime titties when I'm like in this thing. I'm just like... It's wild, especially even over a little bump. You know, and even when you have it in normal mode, I mean, it's still pretty bumpy. The other main complaint about this car is the road noise. And it is pretty loud on the road, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not really... The exhaust is really loud itself. I mean, why would you care about road noise if you're already making a racket, like with how loud the exhaust is? And the bucket seats are, they're racy enough to the point that it does feel like you are supported in that sense, but they're not so racy like the Recaro seats to the point that it's uncomfortable. I mean, you can actually stand these bucket seats and probably even take this on a road trip in these bucket seats. All right, let's do the boost mode. Whoa. This thing is so much fun. The brakes are also very responsive, very, very responsive, and they're not too responsive to the point that they're jolty. They're just enough. Damn! This is a proper race car, man. This thing is so sick. I think maybe my only other complaint about this is the steering wheel. And, you know, I've got the sport steering turned up all the way, but it still feels a little disconnected. When it's in normal mode, it feels fully numb. But with it in the sport mode, it is a little bit more, you can tell that it's more responsive, but it's not nearly as responsive as I'd like it to be, I guess. All right, gang, time for pros and cons. Now, I gotta say, this is a really, really great sports car. I think for the price point and, you know, for what it is really, really great. Like, if you can't afford an M or an AMG, or you just can't wait for the new Civic Type R, then this is your best bet right now. And it's a really great bet to place. So let's just jump into the pros and cons, shall we? So, the pros are the exterior styling. I think that this is the best the Kona looks. If I were to get the regular Kona without the 2-liter, I would get the N line because I really like the painted fascias. I like the painted fenders. I like everything about it. It's the best looking Kona that they make. Another pro would be, you know, the driving experience. I think that the driving experience overall, there are some nitpicky things that I'll get into in the cons that I don't like, but I think the driving experience overall is really amazing. There was not a single corner that I felt like I was gonna go understeering in. The Pirelli tires are so sticky, and they stick to that road, you know, with the limited, and then the electronic limited slip differential. I mean, all, combined, it's an amazing driving experience, truly. The transmission, the engine, the exhaust sound, I mean, all of it. It's a really just great overall racing package. Another pro would be the Harman Kardon sound system. Really great sound system. And another pro would be the steering wheel. I really like the N steering wheel. I like the accessibility of the drive modes on the left side, and then the accessibility of the N mode and the N custom mode on the side as well. And the paddle shifters are really great and responsive. The NGS, albeit a terrible name, cute little like party trick, you know, with the 10 extra horsepower, and it just pushes the engine to its extreme limit. You know, it gets right up on the red line right before it explodes the engine. And it's really great. So now into the cons. So I mean, the cons are the interior. I mean, I gotta say it, the interior is just, feels like they just forgot about the interior. I mean, why not put some line, like some red lining around like the trim, or, you know, maybe make it a little bit more, even just put like fake carbon fiber. Like, why not just make it look like just a little bit more sporty on the inside? I mean, you can't just leave it up to the steering wheel to make it look sporty, right? Another con would probably be, while the steering wheel, you can feel the electronic limited slip differential, in corners, you know, in general, the steering just feels a little bit too numb, I think. I think it could be a little bit more tight. It could be just as tight as the suspension, you know, but it's not. I think another con, so this con is only in regards to daily driving. I think that the con for the suspension, for the daily driving, it's, I mean, like I said earlier, it is anime titty bouncing style driving. Like, another con would be the back seat. The back seat is so cramped, I mean, and the trunk space. The trunk space is minimal at best. That's about all I got. I like this car. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of had this as like a subsidiary of Hyundai, where they just made like an N brand themselves, like kind of like Scion or something like that. So that's all I got for today. Thanks again, Johnson Hyundai of Wake Forest. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. I really want to get out of my day job, and I will be submitting my application for the World Rally Sport Championship next year. Just kidding, I wish. Soon enough, right? Anyways, thanks again, Sparks. Bye. Hey, Sparks. Thanks for watching today's video. If you want more Sparkplug TV content, click right here. Right here. You got two options. Choose one, or both.